It's Bobbbaaaay, and we back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast with your favorite bearded man, the one, the only, Bobbbaaaay. Today on the show, Rhetorik.
I'm here.
Yo, let me say that one more time. Rhetorik. Yo.
Here and seeing through indigo glasses.
Right here, right in front of me.
Sleep deprived, but we're here.
Sleep deprived, but we are live in here. Man, I told you right before we started this podcast, but it is absolutely crazy that you are here for this podcast right now because, like I said, and I want people to hear this at home or wherever the hell you're listening to this, watching this, I literally have been watching you from afar for, I don't know, let's call it since 2013, and it's inspiring to me because I've never had any aspirations to be anywhere in the music world. But to see what you've done, what your team has done, it's amazing to see people that can actually put in the work and turn what seems like a dream into reality. And I am super stoked to have you here today.
That's going to be fun.
On the podcast. So for people that are listening that might not know, there's probably 3 or 4 people that hear this podcast that actually don't know who Rhetorik is.
There's definitely more than that.
Maybe a couple more. Who is Rhetorik today and how young is he?
Rhetorik today, how young is he? I'm about 778 years young today.
Wow.
Rhetorik is just an all-around creative artist whose current medium is music and is really excited to put out a project in the coming months. Because he feels like, I can't do the third person, because I feel like this is finally how I want to represent myself in this world and how I want to get my message out.
Yeah.
So
the DJing, as we'll get into, was kind of the entry point, but now it's time to switch up and kind
for
of go in.
For sure.
Yeah. I think we all got to do those certain things that we don't really care to do at first, but eventually we can find.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I cared to do it, but I felt like
there's more purpose behind the music.
And you know, DJing is a box. And I just wanted to get out of that box and go somewhere else.
Break out, baby.
I filled that box. I had to get out.
You grew up in Virginia.
Grew up in Virginia.
What part?
757.
757?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Oh, really? You've heard of Pharrell?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh.
You heard of Missy Elliott?
Damn.
You heard of Timbaland?
Damn.
You heard the Clips?
I got to backtrack myself out of that one real quick.
It's Virginia Beach area. I grew up, and I was born in Portsmouth, moved to Suffolk, then moved to Chesapeake.
Damn.
Got a lot of DJing in Virginia Beach, Norfolk.
Okay.
So,
how do you think that place helped shape you to who you are today?
It's a pretty diverse area, and it's not like super southern, but it's also not northern. It's somewhere kind of in the middle, and you can just tell in like Pharrell or just Neptune's production that there's just such a cluster of influences
coming from every direction.
That I was allowed to listen to anything. I remember when like NERD came out, I was straight classic rock, that's all I want to listen to, or like ska, or just all rock stuff, bands. And they were kind of like, oh, by the way, hip-hop can kind of get in this pocket too. So I think, you know, the 757 area definitely allowed me to kind of get that perspective, even if it was subconsciously at that age. Yeah. So it was cool.
Any brothers and sisters?
Yep.
How many?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
I'm the oldest.
This man was out here running the town, showing the younger ones how to live.
Oh, man, I definitely have super like dad big brother syndrome. Hey. I got a little sister. She's 23 now. 22. No, she's 22. She'll be 23 in August. And then my little brother's 16.
Oh, so
he starts driving tomorrow.
Oh, ooh.
My mom's pumped.
Yeah, she's got to be like.
I know
shaking.
she's pumped. So I'm taking her to Cancun.
That's not a bad getaway. That's not a bad getaway.
No.
That's not a bad getaway.
I want somewhere safe.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be all right.
I was like, all right, well, it's not Nicaragua. Let's go to Cancun.
Been to Cancun once. Once you got to that resort, man, it was like everyone for themselves. Free food, free booze. Oh yeah. It was spring break. It was we'll
probably do a lot of free reading on the beach. Is what we're about to do.
That's beautiful.
I'm so down.
That is beautiful. What values did your parents teach you at a young age that you've carried with you?
The value of being unique and being a good person, and understanding that you get to learn from different people. Like if they're way different from you, even if you don't like that level of different, it teaches you something about yourself. And although they weren't like upfront with that, it was more like in action, you know, and they always show me that being a good person prevails over everything else. And I kind of kept that with me. Even, you know, music industry is how it is.
Oh, man.
that's just how it worked. And that's,
like,
that's how I aligned with the people that I align with today.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I feel like it never can hurt you to be a good person, but so many people aren't. You know what I mean? Like they'll backstab you, or they're looking to see like what you can do for them, and
it's hurt people. You
yeah,
know? Hurt people definitely hurt people, and it's just stepping back and understanding like you don't have to continue the pattern. Yeah. So it was more of an action thing. Just kind of learn from their example.
Aside from your parents, was there anybody that you would say positively impacted your life enough that you looking back, you're like, yeah, that was somebody that definitely played a role?
I have a very small family, so it's like my mom, my dad, sister, brother, and then my mom's parents. Those are like, that's my extended family. My dad's has a half brother, and my mom's an only child, so no like aunts, uncles,
so
cousins.
Real tight knit.
It's just super tight knit. So both my grandparents too. Like my grandma dresses. Everybody asks like, where do you get your style from? My grandma. She dresses even crazier than I do.
She got the nice fit, the fire fits.
Oh my god, bro! Just from anywhere too. Like she'll go to Steinmart or TJ Maxx or like, this is from thrift, but this could be like vintage 1965 something. You're like, what?
What are you talking about?
But she'll wear it all neon green one day. You never know. And then my granddad is like the true started from the bottom story. So that was motivating too. Yeah, just my family and different people that I met, good or bad.
What do you mean by grandfather started from the bottom? Did he come from outside the country?
No, he came from Camden, New Jersey, and went in the military at 18.
Wow.
Yeah, and then just kind of figured it out.
Yo, that's a different world, man.
Yeah.
I wake up today and I think my problems are nothing compared to like what if I was born 50 years ago, not having this this system right now to run a radio show, or not having the technology to call an Uber when I need it. Like, man, that was a different world, much different than what we live in today.
Yeah.
High school, you ran for class office a couple times. Is that true?
You didn't find the video, did you?
Oh no.
Okay.
There's a video.
Woo! There's video of like my high school speech. There's video of me playing guitar in high school.
I didn't find the gems then.
Oh my god. Nah, and I've challenged the fans too, because they hit me up like blah 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 blah. I think I was on a live one time. I was like, if you can find it, it is out there.
Wow.
And if you tweet it to me, I'll retweet it. I'm not mad at it. I'm just not going to put it in your face.
But I'm not going to put it out there.
Yeah, I'm not going to give it to you. You can earn it.
You're going to have to find it.
What was the question?
You ran for class office?
I did.
Why?
Because I liked making comedic speeches in front of the whole school. That was the one opportunity. I'm pretty sure after I graduated, they made a rule that you had to screen the speech.
Oh,
so they get approved.
So you were that guy.
I was that
who
guy.
Forever changed the school. That's kind of.
But they weren't like vulgar. It was just a lot of hip hop and pop culture references within my running for class office. I mean, that's why I picked Rhetorik.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You ended up going to was it Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech.
How was that 4 years there?
Well, originally when I was thinking about college, it was mechanical engineering.
Okay.
And then I switched that up.
Completely. What was it about the mechanical?
I love math. Love math. I loved math, but my English teachers always loved me the most, and I couldn't figure it out because in high school I hated English. Loved poetry.
Learn about it.
Well, I didn't like school because it told, they tell you what to do.
Yeah, this is how you got to do it.
I love learning, and I love like consuming stuff every day, but being told like you have to learn this, this, and this, and English was always very subjective.
Yeah.
Whereas math was objective.
As long as you got
it's just
to that
like
end
there are
result.
the problems, boom, this is the right answer. But yeah, was gonna go for mechanical engineering, switched it up to communication and poli-sci. I thought I was gonna be a lawyer, then switched it to communication and Spanish because I thought I was gonna do TV. Quit my TV internship at this station in Roanoke to go to New York City to intern at Fader and Cornerstone for no pay. And I made that decision within 10 days. Like, made the decision, called the dude that I just met 2 weeks ago at South by. Was like, can I go there? Went up to New York, did the internship for no money. 10 days later.
And you were already DJing by this point, because that started. That started in high school, I think.
Yeah, it started senior year of high school.
So in college, were you just kind of like taking advantage of like the scene of knowing like I'm in college right now. Everybody wants the music to be played at the clubs and the parties, or.
Yeah. So college, honestly. So I got there freshman year. I think there was a DJ club that fizzled out within like 2 months of me being there. And then
you fizzled it out. They're like, Rhetorik's here. We gotta.
No. It was I was a part of it,
Okay.
and it just there just wasn't enough interest in more people to get like funding and to make it a thing.
Yeah.
But it was African Student Association that gave me my first gig, and which was good for me because my high school predominantly listened to like hip hop and pretty hood stuff. So I was like, okay, I know how to DJ these parties. I don't know how to do like the 4 to the floor at this point in time. So they hired me, and then BSA, the Black Student Alliance, hired me for something else. And then athletes started coming to my house parties, and at Virginia Tech, that was like
huge.
Oh my God.
Huge. If you're an athlete at there, you're like
so
the
then
celeb.
all the other like sororities started hiring me like outside of like the black organizations. And I started doing those parties, and then the fraternities, and then by like beginning of junior year, I had kind of like a monopoly over the scene at that point, and I just hand off gigs to like my homies and stuff.
You were like running the show.
Well, it was so far out. Like it was so far out, and everybody comes from Nova, and everybody comes from all these cities, and you go out to Blacksburg, and you don't find that scene. So I felt like, yes, I've kind of brought this scene, you know. And not in like a conceited way. It was just like
somebody had to step up.
It's a lot of mechanical engineering and like mathematically based students out there, so there aren't that many DJs.
So what was happening? Because it was your senior year that you were graduating, not applying to a job because I'm not going to need it. Were you at this time already working with Logic, or were you still just kind of jumping on gigs? And
yeah, I met him summer after the internship where I quit the one in Roanoke that was going to pay me and went to New York City. I met him that summer. My homie called me up. He was like, hey, which is the dude that gave me like my first gigs. This guy, Henny, he gave me a gig where I DJ for Mac Miller because he didn't have a DJ yet. I did a Big Sean and Mac Miller show the next week, and then another Big Sean show. And that's what kind of got my gigs. This is 2010.
2010. Oh, man, we're talking.
Yeah, this is a long time ago.
These are the early days.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I don't like DJing. It was just like, it's time now. Like, I've been doing this 10 years.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, he gave me those gigs, and he hit me up. He was like, hey, bro, I got this dude Logic. He's doing a headlining show here. He's pretty dope. Listen to him. If you want to come down, I'll give you like a 10-minute, 15-minute set. I think it was like 20 minutes that started. Then it was 15, whatever it was. Yeah. And I took a China bus down. I was like, screw it. I remember I slept on his studio couch. It was freezing cold for some reason in the middle of the summer. I was using like a curtain for a blanket. Woke up, no shower, went to the show the next day. And yeah, he was like, oh, bro, it's running so late now. I don't know if you might get like 5 minutes in. I was like, nah, it's okay. I'll just watch the
whatever
show.
I can
It's
get.
whatever. No, at this point, I was like, I'll watch the show.
Okay.
He leaves. I'm starting to watch it. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I came all the way down. I might as well do this. And I went out and just showed out for like 5 or 7 minutes, something like that. But the green room, you could see down. And they all ended up watching it, met up with him after the show, kept in contact with like Castro and Harry and everybody. Originally went out. No. I went and visited at their apartment in Maryland throughout my senior year. Just kept in contact because they were cool. Yeah. You know, I still don't know anything about his progression at this point. And I remember when they all moved out to LA, I was like, yo, congrats. That's amazing. He's like, dude, you should come out, do some scratches on Welcome to Forever. Just hang out at the crib. I have a big ass crib. Stay on the futon. And went out, hung out. And I was talking to his homie Castro at the time too. And Castro was like, bro, I'm going on tour with him now. You should be my DJ. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I called my parents. I'm like, hey, did you book anything for graduation? They're like, no. Why? And I was like, well, I'm not going to go. And they're like, wait, did you graduate? I said, yeah. And they're like, so you're just not going to the ceremony? I was like, no. They're like, okay. Oh, cool. That's awesome.
They were cool with it.
Yeah, they were cool with it.
They didn't even question like, why aren't you gonna go?
No, because that was always their thing. It's like if you're still getting A's and like you're graduating with honors, whatever. You do it. You're making the right decisions. Like we've never told you, we've never had to give you money. Just go do your thing. And first day before that tour started, I had flown out there, and I remember we were about to fly out the next day. He was like, bro, I was thinking about it. After this tour, you should be my DJ. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And,
Why not?
Yeah.
I'll pencil you in.
Yeah. Well, this time straight out of college, I'm like, I'm down for whatever.
Yeah.
And then like 3 dates in, 6 and Castro had to get off the tour for something. And there it was. He was like, hey, I don't know how much you know my songs yet, but you're DJing for me now. I'm like, all right, here we go. It was in Colorado Springs. I still remember
it.
Yeah. Ripped my pants that day.
Just so much excitement, like having so much fun.
Nah, just like I used to, boy, at like, I'm a very zenned out person now, but at like 22, I was turning up.
I mean, dude.
Jumping off the stage, jumping into crowds, you name it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the age that you're supposed to be doing that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Coming fresh out of college, too.
Oh,
all your homies are jumping into careers, and you're out just touring like around, having a grand old time.
Don't get me wrong. Still not a crazy partier.
Yeah.
But when it came to like on-stage persona, it was
you were showing
a smooth 12 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were turning up.
Yeah.
Talk to me about like
it's a way to get seen.
You had to, well, that's the thing, right? You have the opportunity. It's like, I need to deliver. I need to show people I'm here to make you pumped up for the show, whether you're before or during Logic's set. What do you think now? I mean, we're talking quite some time. That's since that moment of when Logic.
It's been a lot of life.
Man, I can't.
It's been a lot of life.
I can't even imagine. Like from afar, I can't even imagine. But what do you think has changed the most about you through this journey? Because I'm sure there's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been some big victories. There's been probably some, bumping shoulders with the crew like anybody else. What do you think has changed the most about you?
What's so crazy about that though is we have like a core group that's been around
the entire
since
ride.
I've been there.
Yeah.
And we don't. I think we're so different that we've never. Nobody's in the same lane, like hitting each other. You know what I mean? Like everybody has their purpose, and we just don't. There's never like a blow up or a blowout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's just this respect of the uniqueness.
Yeah.
Like, unique and difference are just connotationally different, and we see it as unique rather than different. But yeah, the biggest thing that's changed is I have the privilege of every day as an artist getting to analyze myself and create art out of the things that I want to and change things that I want to. You know what I mean? Like every day, that is my purpose. Yeah. At the end of the day, there's the marketing, and I got to figure out, how is this tweet going to perform? Is this going to do well on Instagram? Or, these things that I have to do. But at the end of the day, like the core of me, all I do is wake up every single day and say, how can I make myself a better person? And how can what I do make other people better people? And like, that's such it's the yin and the yang. It's like the most rewarding thing ever, but it's also the roughest thing on yourself some days. Yeah.
Because there's no defined path.
Well, and there's no, don't get me wrong, there is a rock bottom, but the journey down there, like it gets in some dark places when you're internally searching. Like you open this door and it's just this long hallway of yourself, and you're picking out different things that you want to change or what you think could relate to somebody, and it's this long journey of self-discovery. But I get to do that every day. Like there's no monotonous work thing that was the one thing that I was so scared about. That's the reason I didn't like school, was because it was this, I don't like the structure. I like to figure out what needs to be done and do it. Yeah.
You want to wake up every day and kind of look at it as the same, whether it's a Friday, a Saturday, a Monday.
I have no concept of time and or day of the week.
How long have you had that since you left college?
I'd say
I think that's a privilege for people that are able to live
like that. Oh my God, yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you. I recognize it is for sure a privilege to be able to. I
think about it every day, like especially holidays. Yeah. Like I don't see holidays like if you said Christmas we got to do this, I'm like, cool. Like let's go. And my family is very understanding too, like super understanding. Like our one holiday that they like is Christmas. Yeah. But say something came up that was gonna, help other people and help myself on that day, they'd be like, cool. You know what? We'll do Christmas on the 26th instead.
Would you say that's living the dream? Being able to wake up every day and kind of see the day like that, where it's just, I'm waking up, discovering myself, learning new things about myself, pushing myself.
I say that's living my dream. That's not everybody's dream. I think living the dream is unique to each person, because I know other people that I'm very close with that would be would, sorry for my language, shit themselves if they had to wake up every single day and nothing had any
structure
sort of
to it.
There was no constant in their life. You know, like that's the weirdest. I just got this apartment. This is the first constant that I've had in my life ever. Like the first long-term thing that I'm contractually obligated to. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Because you went on like a, I wasn't going to talk about it until later, but since we're actually,
we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. Throughout all these shows, right? I mean, you did your first time walking into Madison Square Garden. It's you performing. You've been on Jimmy Fallon. You've been Europe, to all these different countries. Is there one special show to you that you think is just that was the one that's the one that kind of makes it all worth the ride?
Like where it changed everything, or where
I
felt like
I don't want to say it changed anything about your career, Logic's career, or just
mentally. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, it was before his stuff. It was when I did that first Mac Miller show. Up to that point, I'd done one quote unquote concert. It was a Travis Porter concert in a club, where it was like me DJing and then Travis Porter. I don't even know if you remember them.
I know exactly.
Yeah, came in, did like 6 songs, and then I DJ'd the rest of the night, and it was so turned. That was my first concert. But then that Mac Miller show was the first time that I'd ever like really had to be on the mic, really handle a concert, and then see this kid come in with all these fans here and perform for them, and I'm like DJing for him. I don't know any of his songs. Yeah, you know, performing for them, like Q's up there like cutting stuff out. I just randomly ran into Q at like a Korean barbecue spot. I haven't seen him since then.
Since you got here?
Yeah, no, like a few weeks ago. But I haven't seen him since like 2010. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
You guys didn't cross paths even in
No, I've seen Clockwork, but this was before Clockwork came around. And yeah, man, the universe is crazy. But yeah, just to see that and be a part of that changed my perspective. Yeah. And then the second time my perspective changed was when I went to, this was not DJing a show. So I'm sorry to take it away from that, but it hasn't been like a show. Fine. It was when I went to South by Southwest. I'd never heard of Fader. I did not know what Cornerstone was. Never heard of South by Southwest, but a couple of my friends needed extra people to go to get the school to fund the trip, and we drove 24 hours down there in a minivan. Wow. And I was doing this Converse show and handing out shoes, and then we go to this party afterwards with somebody that I performed with at Virginia Tech, and then they took us to this thing called the Ilmore, and somehow I ended up in the VIP room to charge my phone. And I saw all these different artists coming in, and I think I'm like 20, 21 at this point, coming in that I'd only seen on the internet. And they're all interacting with each other, and that was when it clicked, like, okay, I'm talking with these people. This is a feasible thing. That it connected, you know, the internet world that I had dreamed about being in real life. It was like, boop, it's
You're
feasible.
Literally in the same room as these people.
If you work hard enough, it will happen. And that's when it changed. That's when I got back. I was like, screw this regular internship. I'm going to New York and riding that wave. Yeah. And that was the summer I met Bob, and, you know.
And just kept going.
So, yeah, it wasn't really a show. Although Jimmy Fallon was pretty cool. Because that was when my granddad quit asking if I was going to get a real job.
That's when he stopped.
Yeah.
Because he's on TV, on national TV.
So now I just asked, am I ever going to get a wife?
I like that. Your granddad sounds like a great guy. I hope he gets a chance to see this.
Oh, God.
You sound like the one.
No, it's on the internet. He'll never see it.
He'll never see it.
Yeah, no.
He'll never see it. What do you think makes a DJ great then?
Well, DJing itself is like a social experiment. You're taking all these people that come from different backgrounds, you know, had different days, different perspectives, grown up on different things, and you're trying to find a commonality between all of them. So a good DJ is a great psychologist. You know what I mean? You're sitting there and you're like, okay, well, this type of music gets the large majority of people into it, and gradually groupthink is going to take over, and the other people are going to be like, well, they're having fun. I kind of want to have fun too. Then you start kind of taking it to stuff. Like, I have a very diverse love of music, so I'd like take it a little bit more left field and see how far I can drag
so
them.
Test while you
and then halfway through the night you're like, all right, now it's mine. And then that's when you a great DJ is somebody that kind of has a unique approach. Like when I started with Logic, I had a very stand-up comedy approach. Like I would play my songs would be punchlines. Like half of my set, because it was like 45 minutes at that point, would be talking with songs as punchlines and creating a story out of it, and then turning you up
along the way.
So gradually it turned into a DJ set by the end. So by the end of it, it's like, whoa,
that was an experience,
right? I think that's what, and I know that was unique to myself. Like I never seen anybody do it like that. I just wanted to combine these two things and kind of show what I want to do down the line. So just finding a uniqueness in yourself and being a great psychologist.
Yeah, because I was watching some of your YouTube clips. Like there was one of, I don't know what show it was, but New York City, and it's like you can just see you just walk up there and this is years in the making, right? You're in front of, I don't remember the venue, but we're talking 2,500 people, and it's like no beat missed. You're just like, you're reading the crowd, you're playing, you recognize you're in New York, you're like throwing on some Jay-Z, you get people going crazy. So it's like
and it wasn't all the most popular songs. It was all the right songs. You know what I mean? And that's why I can't wait to do my music, is because I come from this, coming out with my first songs, I've done far more live shows than anybody that's never put out music before.
You're right.
You know what
I
I mean?
Have something, you're
so I have a different
angle.
approach. Like I know this is where I'm going to lose people, or this is how I can not lose people at this point. And I have crazy music ADD, so that's why the genres are all over the place.
So you know how to keep people like tuned into what
without compromising.
Yeah. Talk to me about the vlogs off the record. How did that kind of come about? I know I saw the first one. It was, pretty much like, I want to show people behind the scenes of, yes, I'm this energetic guy on stage and this is me. But who is Rhetorik off stage? Like, he's just like everybody else, and I'm going to document that journey. What have you enjoyed about putting out the vlogs?
Just the people that watch them.
Yeah.
And
interacting with them.
And liking the talks that I put at the end. I call it seasoning the vegetables.
Seasoning the vegetables.
Yeah, you're not going to just force feed somebody vitamins or force feed somebody broccoli. You're going to season it up. You're going to, put some spices on it and disguise it into this. Thank you. Absolutely. This like good thing, and then once they eat it, they get the nutrients. And so that's what I wanted to do with the vlogs. Was I don't have a way of putting this into my DJ set, like this side of my personality. And I didn't want to put music out yet because I didn't feel like my production had gotten to that level. But I know how to speak. Yeah. I picked Rhetorik for a reason. Yeah. By the way, crazy that Rhetorik and Logic came together. Yeah. I get so many tweets of, did you guys know each other? Did you pick the name together? It's like, no, we didn't know each other at all. Yeah, universe nuts. again. But yeah, the vlogs for me, the greatest part is meeting the people that watch them. Because you do know me at that point. I love that I get 2 comments the most. Number 1, wow, you're a lot taller than I thought. And
I honestly thought that when I was walking up after you come in, I was like, oh shit, this guy's actually
and number 2 is, you're just like your vlogs. Because there's no...
That's you.
I don't put anything on. Yeah. Like, if I'm tired that day, I'm tired that day. But this is the type of person I am in transparency. And I think that... like meeting me outside of the vlog is what solidifies the vlog. You know what I mean? Because the worst is when you meet somebody that you look up to or even just enjoy watching, and then you see them and they're just not.
It tears you apart. It's almost like you're breaking a relationship, because you're not that person. You're not that person. I'm so connected to you, but honestly, people grow into relationships with people just through the content that they put out there to the world. So many times I've heard. Actually, I saw a tweet earlier today. It was like, man, I really liked your music until I met you in person, and now I don't even want to listen to it. And it's the same thing with vlogs, or I see people that they're one person on the internet, and then I see them out on the streets. Especially now being out in LA. I'm like, you're not that same person. Like, where's the disconnect? Why are you trying to cover yourself up? But
honestly, it's just a whole lot easier to just be yourself.
100%.
It's so much easier. Don't get me wrong, and I've said this many times, if you find somebody that has made it and done exactly what you want to do, if you are a carbon copy and you do exactly what they do, you will 100% make it too, but you will only be the best you can be is second place. Yeah. And you'll always feel insecure about that because the person you look up to is in first place. But if you're yourself and you make your own lane, it's a whole lot easier, man. Yeah, you can. I'm the same person around my family as I am on my vlog, as I am with the fans, as I am with my friends. Like, there's no,
There's no disconnect.
When I started DJing, I used to say, oh, Rhetorik and Chase are two different things. And that was, oh man, that took a toll on my life. And I was like, that's stupid. And the vlogs was after I learned that was stupid. And I was like, all right, here we go. Here's myself.
Yeah. It's so easy to just hit the record button and just literally document it.
I thought of it as so vain at first, and that's why I didn't want to do it. And I was like, you know what? You got to look beyond that and see what it actually is. You know.
What I think is amazing too about Visionary Music Group is there's a man by the name of John Bellion that also is part of the group. Very quiet person, but very talented. How has that relationship been with you with John? Because I know you said before we did the podcast, you've done a little work with him, but you haven't really official tour with him. It was more of like opening some sets with him.
We toured.
But from the outside, like I said, you don't hear much from John, and then when you do, he hits hard. How has that relationship been with you and him?
He's just a great dude.
Yeah.
He loves creating, and he loves music. I remember one conversation I had with John. I think we were on a tour bus in like Salt Lake City, and I was just getting mad frustrated with the box of DJing. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, and at this point I wasn't telling anybody that, my ultimate goal is make music. Yeah. He's like, bro, you're just creative that really hadn't found the exact medium yet. And I'm like, yeah, no, I feel that. And he's just a dude that's super that's another person. It's like, those guys are my family too. All the Beautiful Mind dudes, family. They're all in New York. That's New York fam.
Oh yeah.
And then Rat Pack is all in LA. But yeah, John, great dude, super talented, and just all around good human being. Like he doesn't. That's another person too. It's like I feel like I've attracted all these people in my life that don't put on a front. You know what I mean? All the same people on and off camera. Yeah. Behind closed doors or not. How
important has it been to have these passionate people around you, both the Rat Pack
everything.
And Beautiful Mind?
I don't allow anybody that is not extremely passionate. It could be anything. Man, if you built cardboard boxes, but you were the best cardboard box builder of all time, and you could tell me why you wake up every day and the first thing you think of is the best material to make a new cardboard box to change somebody's life, I want you around me. I don't know anything about cardboard boxes, but I know something about passion, and I know it's contagious, and that's why I want you around me. If you woke up in the morning and you're like, man, I wish I did something other than build cardboard boxes, I feel like this is cool, but I don't know. Maybe cardboard boxes isn't what I wanted to. I can't be around that. I need somebody that is so passionate about what they do at all times.
Yeah, because it's like pulling the energy out of you.
Yeah, it is, because I love helping people, bro. But I also, there's this balance that I'm just starting to find too, of wanting to be that person that helps every single person that's in need, and understanding that if I go help myself and make something, it can help far more people than that person I'm going to help immediately that's draining me, you know?
There's only so much you can actually control, right?
Exactly.
Like if you spend your entire day.
Well, I stretch myself thin a lot. So, yeah, it's and doing the vlogs and especially this music and putting out, a song about me being homeless, my time homeless, is that validation and that showing me like, see, you went away. You were, quote unquote, selfish in your guilty conscience mind for a little bit, and you created this product that is spreading way further than like the two people that you couldn't sit on 3-hour phone calls with at 3 a.m.
Yeah. 2017, you had spent pretty much like that whole year just trying to really fine tune like this production, this music writing, and then you came out with Shelter. It was October. How important was that record for you? Because I mean, I've seen the vlogs and people can go and actually watch it too if they haven't heard it yet. But a very important record, especially for it being your first one that's out there to the world.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was huge too because it was the first time I ever came out and was like, "Hey, I've had some sucky times." It was, the vlogs were always, "This is my perspective now. I've learned that it's like this and blah blah blah." But I never said, "This is what taught me." And Shelter was this is what taught me moment. And then to, film the behind the scenes where I'm taking you to the apartment and showing you the train where I slept and all. It was very important for me to go, here's a story that I have to tell. whereas the vlogs where here I am now. It's a very present. Vlogs are a very present thing. It's in the moment.
Yeah.
Whereas music, it has, there are a lot of stories that I haven't told anybody.
Yeah.
And, Shelter was one of those.
Yeah. And you had spent pretty much 5 years, was it? Like a nomad, just.
I've before this past December, I had not signed a lease since college. So yeah, 2013. I've not been in a city for more than 10 days since I graduated.
How is that possible?
You just move around a lot. And don't overstay your welcome when you actually do have places to stay.
How do you think that's helped you grow? But then what do you think you've also been held back from because of it?
It's really helped me to grow because you understand people and you understand personal space and you understand just sacrifice that people are giving for you or the sacrifices that you're making for yourself. Yeah, man, it's teaches you a lot because there's nothing constant. There's no comfortability to sit back on. Like the closest thing I had to a home was a tour bus, and that would change every time. Closest thing I had to home was picking the same bunk on every tour bus. That's why I felt weird if I got another bunk. You had the
same one. It was like, yo, that's my bunk.
All the way in the back, to the right, in the middle. And if it was different, it threw me off. Because that was home. Like that was, and that's the thing too, is if I wasn't constantly moving around and staying on couches or a train or freaking McDonald's, I was on a bus with like 10 other people. You're on this moving metal tube. Like you really do. You understand people. And I think that's a huge part of life is understanding people. And the perspective that it gave me when it comes to writing music and understanding like what things of my, because you're in people's lives at who knows what time. You're staying on somebody's couch. The one day they're good. The next day they broke up with their girlfriend of 5 years and you're sitting on the couch and they're a good friend of yours. So they don't want to kick you out because you don't have anywhere to go, but they're in the back room. Like just freaking out, and you see all these different sides of people. And that's really allowed me to go, okay, this is something that I went through. It's relatable enough to write about it. And, you gather all these perspectives to help formulate it in a way that can help.
Yeah. Has it been tough for you always moving around, obviously, with the touring and the line of work that you were really heavily in with just DJing to actually be away from, like, your immediate family?
No, they're great about it.
Yeah. They've been very supportive the entire way.
Whenever I have a chance, I go back to Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, they're super supportive.
Yeah.
Super, super supportive. It's usually holidays that I'm back around. But there were some times that, when I didn't have a place to stay, I'd be like, hey,
I'm coming back
I'm
home.
not going anywhere. I'm going home for 10 days.
Yeah.
And then I get out.
10 days and you'll be out.
Yeah, it's so weird, man. Even with this apartment, I just renewed the lease because originally it was a sublease. It was only for 4 months.
Okay.
And
so you went in as the 4 months.
Yeah, I couldn't commit. I just couldn't bring my brain to commit to something for a year. And going and committing for a full year, like after was so. I went back and forth so many times, like, maybe I should. I don't know, What if I want to be in LA, or what if I want to go to Berlin, or what? I might go to Hong Kong for 2 weeks. I don't,
Yeah. You don't want that security of like I'm locked in on here and I'm gonna owe money if I'm not here.
Well, yeah. Well, I just didn't. I was so used to moving around that I didn't know how I would mentally react to having a space. But I'm glad I did it. So I think there's still a project that needs to be created while I'm in that space. Yeah.
And that's been the place where you've been making this project.
No, that I made this project. I had a sublet for a month last February. I wrote a lot of the songs there. I wrote it in my homie's crib when I was staying there for a little bit. Airplanes.
So you just wherever the workspace is.
Yeah, wherever the workspace was. Yeah, that last project was recorded all over the place. And produced like a lot of the additional production I just did while I was in LA for like gigs and stuff. So yeah, it was all around. So this next project will be what Stationary Chase is like.
And what can you say about this next project?
Oh, that's so far in the future. Yeah. The one that's coming up though, it's bananas. It's the greatest thing I've ever made, for sure. Like beyond the clothes, beyond the DJing, I'm most proud of this. Shelter is great, but the level of like writing and production value and the way it's going to translate live is amazing, only to be outdone by like the cover art and the story behind it, you know, like, and this is not, I don't want to come across as like bragging or anything, but I'm talking about comparing it to things I've made before. Like it surprised me. Like I'd finish some of these songs and be like, what? That is disgusting. You know, like it'd be like an EDM drop with an 80s guitar solo that I rip in like with my first electric guitar that I ever had. And you know, that's after the second verse. That's a complete metaphor talking about a relationship using straight poetry over a glitch hop beat with like crazy dark organs. Is just like, none of this should work, but it sounds so right. You know what I mean? And I can't wait for that to come out because it's unique. Like I wasn't listening to anything else. Like it's just, this is what a kid that grew up on pop music, loves pop music, but also loves classic rock. But then DJ'd hip hop and EDM for 10 years. Like that's what happens.
You got all this coming in it, all coming in, just mixing into one pot. And like you said, you understanding people.
And grew up on like emo writing, you know? So it's just this woo of everything.
Yeah. What's something you want to see happen in 2018 aside from your project and your music? Like what's something that you need to see happen?
Are we talking like politically, existentially, or just with my life?
Your life.
My life.
We try to stay away from the politics on this podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're not talking about that.
That's a podcast in itself, right?
No, we're not talking about that. Not here for that.
You do got that big tour coming up. That'll be, I'm sure, a nice little summer run for you guys.
Is to see the shift to where it was crazy. I did a live the other day where I go live with fans. Like
I'm sure they love that.
If I post something, I'll go live with fans. Whoever comments the most, I'll go see. And somebody came on and they were wearing this T-shirt. I was like, "Oh, that's dope. Thanks, man, for wearing the T-shirt." He's like, "Bro, I love Shelter. I really want to come see you in concert. It's awesome." I was like, "Oh, are you coming to the tour this summer?" He's like, "Yeah. But honestly, man, I just found your vlog and I was like, you're really awesome and I want to know what you do. And then I saw you also DJ for Logic and I was like, cool. I don't know who that is, but I'll check it out. And then I like his stuff too. And I'm like, wow."
It's coming back to him. It's coming back.
So to see that, I was like, I feel like you are the foreshadowing for what's going to happen to me. Whereas people are going to find the music and then come back and be like, oh, wait, he vlogs too. Oh, my God, this behind the scenes. Wait, he DJ'd for 10 years? That's what I want it to shift to that. Because I feel like my best foot forward is my music. And then the rest is amazing complimentary stuff. So that's what I hope to see.
And it gives people a lane to get to know you. You know, aside from the music is obviously just like that very passionate and very thoughtful piece of art. Vlogging, like you said, is just like the rawness of this is who I am, this is how I am.
But I really want music to be the entryway. Yeah, I feel like it is very raw emotion me, and then the rest is I'm definitely binge watchable. Like there's 75 episodes or something on the internet.
There's enough content on there.
Yeah, there's enough content to even if you just see, you hear one song, you can go back and look up my life.
Yeah.
Which is how I planned it. Like I wanted to build up so that when I put out music, it's all there. The rest,
people can get to know everything about you. What scares you the most?
Doing anything that I don't feel is purposeful, not goal oriented, not any of that. Like that's whatever, but purposeful. Like every single action that I take, I feel like has to be for what I feel my purpose is. Like in some sort of way, it can be a really tiny step or it can be a really big step. But if I'm not doing that, that can be in personal relationships, work, anything. And if I feel like I'm not doing that, I'm scared of the path that I'm going because it's diverting from what I believe. Like,
so everything that you do, you think through, is this putting me
almost detrimentally. Like I don't enjoy free time. Like I mean, even my manager has to hit me up sometimes. Like, bro, get out of the house, go do something with your friends. Blah blah blah.
Just break away from it all.
Yeah, just I love what I do, and that's what scares me the most, is diverting from that path and not getting to do that, because I see people that don't get to do that. It's like, yeah.
But it's got to help that you are surrounded by even if you're not directly with them every day, the people that you are directly communicating with, I'm sure.
Well, it's surrounding yourself with people that will hold you accountable, So they're not necessarily there saying every day, like, bro,
get up and do it, go.
But it's people that if you did divert from that path, which God knows I couldn't do it. Like, I freak out at the small. Oh, I've been on Twitter for 7 minutes. I can't do this, But it's the people that'll be like, yo, what are you doing? Anybody. And the people that I've surrounded myself with to this point, they hold themselves to such a high standard that people that they surround themselves with too, they're going to hold to that same standard. And I do the same for other people, so I hope they do it for me.
Yeah. You need somebody to hold you accountable, obviously, but you can't expect people to literally guide you down the path and say, like, Chase, you need to do this right now, because if you don't do it, you're going to be in trouble.
I have a line that's way down the line. It's not on this forthcoming project, but it's along. I'm not going to give you the exact line, but it's along the lines of, I wish I talked to myself the way I talk to you. And it's because we're always the hardest on ourselves. You know what I mean? It's
so easy for me to give advice to people, but when I have to give my own self-advice, I hold myself so much higher, and it's like I can dig myself down so deep that it's like, you're on the right path, Bobby. You like Bobbbaaaay, bearded man, you are on the right path. You just literally need to keep going. Like, you just have to keep going. You don't have to stop. And that's a perfect segue to something I want to talk about. I had read in an interview you had said, I challenged myself to counteract anything negative around me with something positive. I learned that focusing on a problem doesn't solve it, only focusing on the solution. How do you remind yourself to stay positive even through this like crazy path through life of highs, lows, and everything in between?
You believe in the law of attraction?
100%.
I also believe in another thing that I've never read about, but I just kind of made it up in my head, so you got to bear with me. And I call it the law of perspective. And I think that the law of attraction is real, but it's a compounding law upon the law of perspective, whereas the law of perspective is allowing yourself to see positivity in different things. And if you allow yourself to see positivity in different things and you force yourself to see it that way, it becomes habit. And at that point, it is perceived that you're attracting more positive things in your life because you have developed the habit to see things as positive. But I also believe in the universe, so I think when that happens, you also start attracting more positive things in my life. And that is what motivates me every day. It's all just a perspective shift. And I think that's why I love writing music so much, is because something will happen to me and immediately, like subjectively, and my ego will go, oh, this sucks. And then immediately
it comes right back.
I'm like, this is great to write about,
Yeah.
And that's really what motivates me. And don't get me wrong, I'm a human being, and I realize, there was a year in my life where I cut everything out, like eating terrible, alcohols, everything, and my goal was to eliminate my ego and see what that felt like. And it was crazy. It was, if you want to do it, it's great. Then I realized there's a certain amount of ego that you have to have. Ego being ego, not like
I'm the best.
I'm great.
Ego,
yeah. Ego as itself. You have to bring a certain amount back in if you want to relate to people, and it's not eliminating it. It's more so the awareness of when it's taking over, and I think that's what it is. Is I allow myself now. I'm just aware of it, and
doses of it almost. Like dosages of it?
Or just knowing that that's what's going on. It's like when you're tired, but you're sick. You're like, oh, I'm tired because I'm sick. Oh, I feel terrible about this happening because I'm human and I have an ego. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what it was. That's why I constantly seek out the positive, is because I know it's muscle memory in the truest form. It's your brain constantly working for you instead of against you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it all comes back. Like I said, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. I think things happen for a reason. I don't know if they're religion, if there's a God, if there's this or that. That's a whole nother thing. But I believe that
You don't have to know anything. You just got to feel it.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. I never really thought of it.
Yeah. We're very knowledge is power, but it's, you know, people relate to things and like music and whatnot because of what they feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why concerts are successful and music brings people together.
How do you want people to feel when they come across Rhetorik? Whether it's your music, a vlog, a podcast, like what do you want people to feel when they come across something with your name on it?
Comfortable with themselves, really. Because I wasn't always this person. You know, that's how much change. I was a pretty damn insecure person coming out of college because I felt like I had to be this type of person to get in the music industry. So I'm saying all these perspective things that I'm giving you is because I went a certain route, it failed, and I learned from it, and now I understand why it happened.
What was the failure though? Like, what do you mean by that?
No, just everybody fails. You fail a million times at things. Like you try, this is the approach I'm gonna take. This is the approach I'm gonna take. This is the approach. This, and I just overanalyzed it because I like math. I'm like, this is the finite way to get to, you know. And you have all these failures, and then you finally realize, oh, and that's why I want people to feel is, oh, I'm comfortable with myself. That's how I want to approach it. Because it's the most fulfilling way for sure.
Yeah.
But that's what I want people to feel. I want you to listen, be able to relate, and just feel comfortable in it. Feel at home. Art, you know, I gave you the alternate reality treatment, man. I want you to feel at home in it.
What do you? Sorry, these things get like when the water soaks up, it kind of.
Bobbbaaaay.
Got the coasters, baby.
Look I just want you guys to see the branding.
We don't mess around. We got the cups. We got the coasters, man. We the real deal out here. We're the real deal. What would you say you're most grateful for today?
Today. Right now.
It's
every now that I get, every now. And not only that, I know this sounds like woo, but like every moment that you realize now. Because we're creatives. We live in our heads. You know what I mean? When I'm writing these songs, I'm not writing about every single moment. I'm writing about something that is obviously stuck with me so long that I can relive it to write about this. Yeah. So I am super thankful for now. Just like, whew, get rid of everything now. Because once you sit in the now, there's absolutely nothing else that I know I'm getting like, woo, right now.
This is the path I like going down.
But there's nothing else that can exist in the now other than the now. So you just have that, like, myself.
Yeah.
And then you get to, I tell people the reason that I run with no music because that's kind of my meditation.
No music at all.
No music at all.
You also, I mean, you're living in New York City for the most. I mean, is that where you run a lot? I mean, well, you travel a lot, so I guess you would be running it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the main place.
Let me just put it this way: if I'm running New York City, I don't need music. I have a million things to look around. There's horns honking, people screaming. There's enough going on.
That's my clear mind time, and it's like sometimes when you sit and then some days I don't get to run, so I sit there and I take my time. Like it's like a room. You get to clear it out. I use a lot of things as interior decoration. You get to clear it out and say, okay, these are the only things that I need here today. Boom. And then you go. But if you don't open that door and go in that room and clear everything out, it's just going to keep getting cluttered. You're going to open the door, throw things in, you know.
Have you always been heavily with like the fitness, the running, the meditating? Has that always been?
No, that was my clarity year. I was like, I forget what year it was, but it was the year before the vlog started. Because I was like, I'm living a goal-oriented life where I should be living a purpose-oriented life. So that was my switch-up year. Like, all right, that was me actually, what I do mentally now, that was me doing it physically in my life. No alcohol, no terrible diet. Like, start running. I hated running. Still don't really like it, but I like what it does.
Yeah.
That was me actually doing it. So that I saw what it could do for myself. So even now, when I eat like 8 slices of dollar pizza and drink a milkshake at 1:30 a.m., I'm aware that the next day when I wake up, I'm going to feel terrible. Like I'm not going to make good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to be probably grumpy. Yeah. I'm going to be in the bathroom for like 3 hours of the day. Yeah. Whereas before, I was so neglectful to that I didn't understand what it was doing to my mind.
Yeah. I've become much more focused in on that of just like what it's gonna go with you. Hit it. I gotta get like something to like lock these down. But yeah, I've realized that for my own personal success, I need to be physically on point, mentally on point, and when I'm actually feeding myself needs to be very calculated because like you said, I'll wake up.
Can't put shitty gas in a Lamborghini.
You're right. That'll be a big issue. Bigger issue. Talk your shirt.
Yes.
Turn your insecurities into art.
Yeah.
How
that'll
important?
Probably be the first text I ever get tatted on myself.
It will be.
Yeah.
Right across, like right underneath.
No.
Where would you
I'll probably
put
get
it?
it small. I don't know. I'll probably put it like right here.
Put it on the wrist.
Yeah. I only have one tattoo.
Oh, I was gonna say, what is that?
It's an eye.
It's an eye for what?
It means a lot of things.
It means a lot of.
Yeah.
I didn't like the way you looked at me when you said that.
It means a lot of things.
It means a lot of things.
That's everybody that asks. I haven't. It's a personal thing. It means a lot of things.
Okay.
I'm sure at some point.
When the time's right.
Yeah. It means a lot of things that you'll it'll be told in the music too.
Mm-hmm.
I like symbolism. I like the deep stuff. I like that as a kid. So now that I'm doing music, it's like there are a lot of little Easter eggs in everything I do.
Yeah. People we don't know about it.
Oh man, I put out merch over a year ago that has to do with the project that's coming out this summer.
So you're like thinking through that far ahead of time.
Oh, this is the mantra that connects everything on this project. Yeah, it's all
connected.
That's what I'm saying, man. And oh my God.
Do you just get into like
I'm the highest sober person you've ever met.
My homie that I live with has never drank, smoked, done anything.
Oh yeah.
I look at him.
I drink every once in a while now.
Yeah. Do you? I'm just so curious because I can tell from this conversation and just by what I've seen from you is like, do you just wake up by yourself in a room and you're just very happy? Like you have, like you said, you have the day ahead of you. You can create whatever you want. Are you okay with just putting the phone down, not getting a text and not responding for the entire day and just doing what you have to do?
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
There's some day. Well, and it also depends on what's going on. Like right now, I'm in the finishing stages of this project. So I'm very connected with people.
I like the finger motions.
I know. Very connected with people right now because I don't need to be.
It's about getting things done, right?
Yeah, I need to be aware on the phone, texting, emailing, talking to my interns. Like I need to be social chase. Mm-hmm. Whereas when I was creating that project, I wasn't responding to anything. I was not on Twitter. I was not on Instagram. I was not listening to music. I was very in it. So it's different phases. Like right now I'm in, finish up the marketing phase. Whereas when I'm creating, that's when I'm wake up at 7:30 in the morning, create then with my tea, go on a run, get lunch, come back, create. Like I don't want outside influences. Whereas right now, yeah.
Are you a fan of Tim Ferriss at all?
I don't know who that is.
Really? Mm-hmm. I feel like you'd be a big fan of him. Tim Ferriss is a big podcaster. It's called The Tim Ferriss Show. He's had.
You know what's crazy is this is the second podcast I've been on. I've never listened to a podcast all the way through.
Really?
I remember somebody had told me to listen to a podcast. I started to listen to it, but I was on a plane and I forgot to download it, and I just never finished.
You never finished it? Do what's stopping you?
From podcast?
Yeah. Too long of a time to sit and actually listen, or?
Well, I don't drive, and I feel like that's a lot of people's big time.
You fly a lot, though, I would imagine.
I fly a lot, but I also listen to music a lot on the plane.
Okay.
Or I have YouTube Red, so I'll download like weird documentaries, and watch those. Because I'm getting really into, especially since I get to make music videos now. Yeah. Like I have treatments for my songs. I'm literally just going to directors like, here is shot by shot. Can we do this? Yeah. I've an animated video in the making right now where I sent it to him. He was like, wow, well, never gotten this much detail before, but cool.
We're going to work
now
with
your
it.
budget is this much less. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, because we don't have to spend all this creative time.
Oh, my.
We know exactly what we want.
Man, dude, I'm coming out of pocket for everything. So thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been watching more and more movies by different directors and different documentaries and things just to see that technique. I really soak things in. I was that kid that everybody hated in high school. Like the night before, I just really cram everything, and it was just like, whoop, now I know.
Here's a tough question, and you don't have to answer it.
I like how we just totally skipped over turning insecurities.
It started to go down a bunch of different paths. We can come back to it. I got nothing but time, man. Now, this might be a tough question, but do you think there's ever going to be a point when you split from Logic? And it wouldn't ever be because...
Oh, no, 100%. No, we've talked about it. And it's not this crazy thing. I think that we'll always do stuff together for the rest of our lives. And we'll always be friends for the rest of our lives, but as far as all like the tours and stuff, yeah. I mean, it's only natural. It's never been a weird relationship like that. Like, now we are, it's always just been like, dang, this is awesome. I'm glad that we like each other and we're good people and we hold each other accountable. Yeah. So yeah, it's just natural progression. And I was really transparent with him from the jump. And he was like, bro, just let me know before you got to go and do your own thing. But yeah, I mean, I'll still be on tour this summer. Yeah. So happy about that. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's going to be a big tour. You guys, NF, Kyle, 3 months. You're definitely stopping in Boston to get that Massachusetts turn. I know you're a Sox fan.
I'm a Sox fan.
I know you're a Sox fan. I like that. I might be able to pull some strings, get you some tickets.
Let's go. I haven't been to Fenway since 2004, which was a good year.
Do you know that was a great year? That was the last time you were at Fenway?
That was the last time.
Oh man, you gotta.
And I had obstructed
Sox,
seats.
Get them behind the. I know, behind the freaking plate.
2 goals for me are celebrity softball game, and first pitch with somebody.
That'd be amazing.
Because I pitched. I did baseball far longer than I've done music.
You did, and you pivoted that. That was your senior year too, right?
I quit my senior year.
Ooh. That was it easy or hard?
It didn't go over well.
No. With yourself, coach, parents,
myself, everybody. Cool. Yeah. Parents, cool. The rest of everybody, not so cool. Yeah. I mean, it's long gone now. Yeah. But yeah, at the time it was like, wait, really?
You're really going to leave us? Yeah. Do you have anything you want to say about that shirt? Because I don't want to skip over it. Because I know it is something that's important.
No, turn your insecurities into art is something that'll kind of be revealed with the art that comes with it. And yeah, I guess it was skipped because it should be skipped because I can't say that much on it right now. It is my mantra, though. It is 100% my mantra. And I remember I tweeted it right as I made the first song for this project. I was like, this is what I'm doing. Like, this is really what I'm doing. But yeah, I can't really explain beyond that. Because once the art comes out that I made, then I can be like, this is why I say it. I mean, the same goes with the merch before. Yeah. Yeah, man, everything's connected. It's bananas.
How would you connect everything you've talked about today?
It's like the rings and stuff too. People's... Oh my God.
I was gonna say I can't even imagine. What do you think Rhetorik's purpose is with everything you talked about today?
Rhetorik's purpose is to further society in the best way possible. Further society. I hate the word society.
Not a fan?
Society is constructed, whereas the human race is just existing. There's another woo-woo.
I like that. Like a lot of woo-woos in this. I like that.
I know. I mean, it's just how I think, man.
You're good. I like deep thinkers like this.
You're gonna get.
I like this.
I mean, I tweeted the other day. I was like, I feel like I'm the spiritual son of David Bowie and Erykah Badu.
People went ham. Did people go crazy?
No, somebody illustrated it. One of my really awesome fans illustrated it of like Erykah Badu on one side and David Bowie on the other.
It's pretty badass. You got fans like doing that shit.
Oh, dude, I have the best fans.
That's super dope.
Well, I think it's because I am exactly me. So they like me. So there's I don't feel like they're ever missing what I'm trying to do. Well, what'd you ask me before that? Oh, purpose.
Purpose.
Yeah, is to further. I don't know. I'm better at showing it than saying it. Kind of show us that we're all a little bit more similar than you think, and connecting those dots for people that don't necessarily have a broad enough perspective yet to connect them themselves. So via all mediums, and bringing people together. And I think that's why the foundation of it being DJing is so appropriate, because that is the easiest way to show taking a bunch of diverse people because they're all in a room and then turning them on to the same wavelength from
that was the
music.
seed like in the ground.
Yeah, well, that's just showing like this is what I'm trying to do with everything. This is what I'm trying to do when I make clothes. This is what I'm trying to do when I talk like this. This is what I'm trying to do when I'm making music. This is what I'm trying to do when I'm illustrating my art. You know, this is what I'm trying to do when I'm, who knows, down the line, acting, making movies, directing something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Writing anything, creating. This is what I'm trying to do when I'm creating. Is bring us closer and show uniqueness instead of differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of purpose within Rhetoric, not just one lane.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as a creative.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so easy for me to create. I'm not easy for me to create art, but I know what I'm doing with each lane. I know that the end purpose for all lanes is the same, so I just take the same mindset to each thing. It's just I turn on a different side of my creative brain. You know.
This is when I reverse the rule. I allow my guests to ask me any one question. It could be about something we talked about today, something you want to know about me. There's only 2 rules. First rule, can't be directly about the podcast. Second rule, it can't be a question that I asked you today.
Can't be about the podcast at all. Not like when did the podcast? Not that, but just in your process.
I mean, you could fire away, and I'll tell you if I'm going to shoot it down. There's a lot of questions that I got in the beginning stages of like, why'd you start the podcast? Where do you want the podcast to go?
I'm not gonna. That's boring. We got way too woo.
Not
no shots to anybody, but I'm saying we went way too.
Yeah.
I mean, we went over the moon. We passed planets.
We're with Elon. We're up in.
Bro,
we're heading towards Mars right now.
Yeah, man. This was a.
Fine. You know what? Just whatever you got. Whatever jump in your head right now.
Mine was gonna be, what's the biggest thing you learned about yourself from something that somebody told you about themselves? Biggest thing that somebody came in and you asked them a question, they told you something and made you realize something about yourself. Because that's what I'm trying to do every day, is learn something from somebody else.
Yeah. That's a great question.
So I was gonna say your life is, I mean, it kind of has to do with podcasts, but it's not like specific.
Yeah. That's a good one, man. You know, it's funny. I made this wall probably the wall of the guests probably about a month and a half ago, and it's nice to visually see them all. But then when I'm sitting here and I'm like, which one am I gonna pick from the board today?
Well, it could be like a combined thing.
Well,
you know,
give me the question one more time so I can really hear this.
What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself from something somebody told you about themselves?
That's a really good question. You should be a podcaster.
I'm sure I'll interview people. Like watching the Kendrick Rick Rubin interview. I'd love to do something like that. Yeah, like we're both artists. Let's interview each other.
I'm it's actually just like jumping at me right now because I'm looking at him.
I went to school for journalism.
Oh, you did?
You know. Yeah.
Oh, you did? I didn't. Yeah. You got me beat.
No, I did. Sorry, Virginia Tech. Didn't really learn that much, but I mean, technically, I do have a sheet of paper that's really dusty somewhere.
Somewhere tucked in. There was a podcast. Somebody, I think it was Carter Reeves' podcast actually. So shout out to Carter. Shout out to Massachusetts. Carter, he said something along the lines of seeing it through, whatever that thing is. And I don't know if he was talking about his music career. I don't remember exactly the context of it, but he said, see it through, whatever it is that you want to do. And it kind of goes back to what I had said earlier of like not too long ago when I was talking about, you know, I'm asking myself, is this the thing that I'm supposed to be doing? Is the podcast like my entry point, or like what is Bobbbaay's purpose? And you have to like give things time, right? Like today was my 80th episode, right? Like sounds like a big number, and it is a big number to pat myself on the back, but is it really a big number enough to say like I saw it through, to say like I took something and I pushed it far enough to see if that was like that right thing? And I've learned that to not be afraid to stop something that I'm not like that doesn't feel right. So I've tried other YouTube concepts. I've launched a second podcast with my homies just to try that out and just see how things play out. And that's something that I've learned about myself, is to not be afraid to try and to stop, and not be afraid that it's not a failure. You know what I mean? The failure is not trying. The success is actually taking that step forward and trying something and seeing, do I enjoy it? Do I like it? It's not about necessarily the results or the plays that I'm getting, but is this starting to feel like a job, or is this something that I'm enjoying and that I should keep pursuing? And I think that's super important, is just you have to just try things out. I want to try acting. I want to try modeling. I want to try all this different stuff. And the only way I'm ever going to be able to figure it out about myself, if that's truly what is made for Bobbbaaaay, is to see it through and try it. And that's what's dope about this podcast project. And I never saw it happening until I started, was being able to connect with people that have seen through what their passions are, have seen through countless of different journeys of failure and success, and people, some of them are at the peaks right now. They're at the top of their game, and some of them are in that process of trying to get out of working that job and be full in on what they love to do. And it's just a journey, right? Like, it's just a journey of believing in yourself and seeing through your own ideas and believing in yourself, I guess. I don't know. There's been a lot that I've learned about myself through what people have said. But I would say that's probably one of like the ones that is very relevant to where I'm at today. As of March 28th or 29th, is just of this like process of continuing down the road. As long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing, things are happening. I'm fucking sitting here across from you, Rhetorik. Like that, like on some not weird shit, bro. It gives me the chills, man, because I've been to probably 3 of Logic's concerts over the last couple years. I've seen you perform. I've seen, you on stage doing your thing before Logic would even come out. And it's like, I'm sitting across from you right now having a conversation, about life. I go through these very deep holes a lot in a day. And I think probably the last year of my life has been the greatest, but also like the toughest mentally, because I've had to learn to step away from, I don't even want to say step away from people, but like I need to pull back my reins on wasted time and energy and really focus in on like what am I trying to do, right? Like what's like my end goals. And yeah, man, I don't know. I could literally just keep going, but
no, it's it's a yin and yang. He outed me on 44 Bars Conversations, and Lena was right about my life and share whatever he said.
Yeah,
and we were talking the other day just about creatives' brains, and if you create at a certain level, like a certain height, your brain that's showing your brain's potential. So your brain has the potential to get super high end, but also it's a yin and a yang, so it has the same potential to go equally as low. And you have to understand that. So when you hit that equal rock bottom, you're like, well, that means I can get equally as high up. You know what I mean? And when you hit that super high up, you gotta understand at any point in time, if I let it slip, it can go right back down to there. And it's this balance. And I was like, you know what, bro? I wouldn't have it any other way, would you? He's like, nah, sometimes you think about it, but no, it's, you gotta, what is it? With great power comes great responsibility, something like that. Yeah. And it's like, with this great power comes this great responsibility to allow yourself to get back up every time.
It's a roller coaster ride.
Yes. I mean, I have a line about that. Why am I stuck up on this roller coaster ride? I see everything from here, but can't reach it from the sky. So yeah, no, I feel you. And nobody's gonna know your passion except yourself.
Yeah.
Like the level of it. People can see it, people can feel it, but nobody's gonna know the true level of it except for you, the person that wakes up every day and says, no matter what, this is what I want to do. Or one day you might wake up and say, this isn't exactly what I want to do anymore. And you move on to the next thing.
I'm not scared of that day either, if that was to happen, because I know that I'm still making those steps forward, right? You know what I mean? I think that's the most important thing. It's like present moment right now. Am I doing the best possible thing that I could do for myself? Yes. Are there times where I'm missing out on events or social gatherings? A lot. But that investment into myself needs to happen in order for me to see how these things are going to play out. And if I don't do it now, when am I ever going to do it? I'm 24 right now. This all kind of fell into my lap right when I graduated college. Kind of, when you were said, I'm not getting a job. I'm about to. Fortunately, I didn't hit the road like that, but
Oh, bro, it wasn't. If you've seen that Shelter documentary, man, it was not all.
You're right. It wasn't, but I guess I would say more of I'm just looking at it from the outside in now, just what the journey has been. But at that time, I'm sure it was your own battle of like, is this right or is this not?
I was gonna say your boy was sleeping on the trains, going, I don't know if this was right.
You're right.
I don't know if this was right.
You're absolutely right. Closing questions. I want you to imagine there's a picture frame on the wall. It's 10 years from now.
Wow.
And you're in that picture frame. What and who else do you want to see within that picture?
Oh God, who else in it?
Doesn't have to be who else. It could just be what else is in that picture. You're definitely in it, front and center. What's in the background? What's around you? If anything, it could be people. Doesn't have to be anybody except but yourself.
Honestly, I just want to see me with a big ass smile on my face. That's it. I think that's the best thing that could be in that picture. Everything else is what's influencing that smile on my face. So that's all I want to see. Because if I look at myself in 10 years and I got a big old smile on my face, and that's what matters. Because if I look at myself at like 22, 23, you couldn't find any pictures of me like just geeked out. It wasn't until I shifted that perspective and I am where I am now. Now you see pictures of me with a smile on my face. And as long as that picture has a smile on my face, obviously everything else in that picture is doing great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's all I want.
Do you think it'll be in New York City?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. Like I said, this is the first year that I really had a permanent home. So
you're right.
Who knows? I could probably come back to LA. I want to live in Berlin for a little bit. It all depends on. Right now, I just need a permanent home because there's so many. I'm taking all these meetings and. Excuse me. I just need a place where my interns can come and work, or if somebody wants to have a meeting and listen to the music. Hey, you'll get a better feel for me if you come by my apartment, or if it's just nice to have all my stuff in one place. Yeah. Yeah. Or if I'm like, I need to fly home right now and write this and finish this record, I can go home. Whereas before it was all dependent. So yeah.
Where can people find you on social media if they don't already follow you?
Unfortunately, on Twitter, it's still at DJ Rhetorik because this dude in Germany has at Rhetorik.
Is that why you want to go to Berlin? Find him, beat him down?
He lives in Berlin. Yeah, I've tried to contact him like 800 million times. I've had fans spam him, hit his email, everything, nothing.
That's the power of having some fans. You could just fire away.
Doesn't get on Twitter. It's just like spam tweets, like automatic tweets. I'm sure at some point when there's a label involved, they'll figure it out. But until now, it's just at DJ Rhetorik. Damn. Twitter is at Rhetorik, or Instagram is at Rhetorik. YouTube is /it's DJ Rhetorik. I'm pretty sure it's still. And Facebook.com/Rhetorik.
If they type in Rhetorik, even on YouTube, I'm sure it's gonna pull up even without the DJ.
I would imagine the record or anything.
Yeah, that's a unique name. Before I ask the last question, thank you for coming in today. I know I said it probably 2 or 3 times and before we even started the podcast, but people like yourself are the types of guests that I had dreamed of connecting with one day. And
you're gonna do way better than me.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
You're part of the stepping stone, so I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
We're both going to grow.
We're both going to grow. Curious to see where the music goes with you, and I'm sure this tour is going to be great for you, Logic, and the entire crew. So best of luck with that. Last question for you. What are the 2 to 3 pieces of advice you'd give to somebody that's listening today, hasn't found that passion, hasn't found their purpose, is that person that is just kind of sitting around trying to figure it out, doesn't know what to do? What's the best 2 to 3 things that you would say they should do?
Find what people say makes you different and start thinking of it as something that makes you unique. I know I've said that a million times, but really believe in that. It's a perspective thing. Depending on how old you are, it's like in high school, the cool people aren't going to be cool forever, even in college too. If you find your purpose if you find the things that you're passionate about and you pursue them diligently, even if you're a goal setter, you'll gradually find your purpose. Because that's what I did. And yeah, it really is just about finding what makes you unique and just going with it and be unapologetically yourself, even if the people you're immediately around aren't like that or they shun it. Like, my creativity didn't thrive while I was in Virginia. My creativity started thriving when I went to New York City and I didn't know a single soul and I could be whoever the heck I wanted to be because everybody there was whoever they wanted to be. Yeah. And if you keep doing that every single day, you'll gradually attract people that are like you around you, especially with the power of the internet right now. So yeah, as cliche as it is, be yourself, man. Be yourself and be proud to be yourself. And even in the worst of times, it's way more worth it to just be yourself in the long run than it is to be what you think you should be, to get whatever you think you should have. Because it isn't really what you want.
That's it. So. Rhetorik, thank you for coming on the podcast today, my man. Pleasure.
I'm glad we had a good dab because that could have ruined
that. Was fire. That was fire.
We honestly would have had to just delete the whole thing.
Start it up again.
That
was fire. That was one of the best of all time. Best of 2018. We'll catch you guys next time.
Amazing.
See ya.